Hi y'all, and welcome back to the beauty related side of my channel. As I always say, I think I'm at the point where I'm gonna stop saying it, so I'll say it in this video one more time. I am super pleased and super excited to kind of be making this re-entry into the beauty stratosphere. I don't know if y'all have been seeing on my Snapchat and all on my whatever, but I am just honestly pleased as punch to be enjoying being back on this platform. I really had some pretty intense burnout when YouTube honestly became my worst nightmare. I am planning at some point to be filming a video about my experience being a creator that was making a decent amount of money to being a creator that didn't make enough revenue to get paid each month. So if you're interested in seeing that, definitely let me know down below as any questions you might have concerning being a YouTuber. I admit I never became like a big YouTuber, but there was a time where I was making a nice amount of supplemental income off of my channel, whereas now, like I said, the last time I got paid was in January. But today we are doing yet another freakishly belated review, like the last review y'all would have seen from me, which I'm pretty sure was the Melt Cosmetics Gemini 1 and 2 palettes review. I am reviewing palettes that have existed on the market for a while now, because these are palettes and items that when they were released I did not have any amount of disposable income to be spending on frivolities, regardless of what they were, makeup included. And so today we are going to be going over two of Natasha Denona's new, like I said, new is prefaced with all of these. The two of her new quote-unquote $65 palettes. If you've been on my channel for an extended period of time, I've been reviewing these pretty much as long as she's been putting them out, and I love absolutely every single one of them. Natasha Denona is a bougie, pricey brand. There are several products that I stand by 110%, and her $65 palettes are one of those products. So obviously when these came out, I was feeling all kinds of ways. This is the retro palette, very reminiscent of sort of the color story I am going for today. And then this one is the Zendo palette, which just had some beautiful colors. Y'all know I definitely took a second look when I saw this palette, when I saw four, I guess that one kind of like a greeny brown going on. So 4 or 5 greeny whatever shades here, and then a whole bunch of whatever this is. I've been really excited to review these. I have used them multiple times since getting them. I kept wanting to do the review and I just kept putting it off. So here we are today, gonna be doing the review. Gonna go in, gonna be swatching this shit, and then we'll go in and talk about my feelings on the palettes on a whole. I can already tell you that part of this was a dumb choice on my part. Again, if y'all have been on my channel for an extended period of time, you know that I'm a matte shadow lover. I love I love my shimmer. I love all that, but you know, deep in my core, mattes, in my opinion, make up the backbone of a palette. I would 110% prefer an all matte palette to an all shimmer palette. So I can already tell you that these palettes obviously have not my favorite matte to shimmer ratio, which is my own damn fault, because you see the palette and you can look at it and you can count the matte to shimmers, and I bought that shit anyway. So, and I've had these for a long time. It ain't getting returned. I still have the boxes up there when I was like, if I don't like it, I'm gonna return it. And then like 4 months later, we're reviewing it. I'm gonna start off with the Zendo palette. We're gonna kind of have to go on through here. We got a lot of shades to swatch. So I'm just gonna do my whoo like I do. And we're gonna start off with Sense, which is a shimmer. Y'all know I am not a shimmer person, but when a shimmer is done right, I can appreciate it. And Natasha Denona $65 palettes, when she does the shimmer right, this is some of the best shimmer formula on the fucking market. I love them. Next up is Aura, which is this beautiful, look at that beautiful peachy, glorious, delicious goodness. That actually looked really good topped off on my lipstick today. Sorry, I didn't think about that. Next up here is Mindful, which is a really nice, it's a shimmer, but it's like it's got the consistency, stop it. It's got like the consistency of a shimmer, but it comes off like a matte. It's a really unique and interesting formula, not a formula that I am typically used to using. Next up here is Tranquil, then we have Vigor here, and then Luster, which is one of my favorite shades in the whole palette. The mattes are really nice. The shimmers are really nice. That's just freaking gorgeous. Then next up here is Calm, which is the same as the Mindful shade, where it's got like the texture, the consistency of a shimmer, but again, it comes off more as a matte. It's a very interesting, it's a very soft, it's a very, again, it has that like really well formulated shimmer formula, but it's not reflective, it's not shimmy shiny. Next up is Relief and Balance. I love the mattes in these palettes. They are just really, really well formulated, really beautiful. Even if there aren't a huge selection of them in either of these palettes, the ones that are there are really well formulated. Then one of my absolute favorite shades in this palette is Yama right here, and that is what I have on that area of my lid going on there. The rest of my makeup is the Melt Cosmetics Gemini 2 palette, because that is currently the palette I cannot put down. But this shade, it's like rosy, but it has like green going on. I don't know why my lighting is so freaking weird. I don't know, maybe it just hates me today, but Swatch is not doing that shit justice. It is seriously not. It's just washing it all out. Jeez. Not showing up on camera well at all. Not doing it justice. It is reddy. It is pinky. It is rosy. But it's got those really nice green little reflex, which you all know fuck me up. Then we have Equilibrium right here. Beautifully, beautifully formulated shimmer. And then Flow, which also beautifully, beautifully formulated shimmers. They are smooth, they are opaque, they are shimmy shiny, they are as buttery as fuck. Then another favorite is Zeal right here, which is delicious, absolutely decadent and gorgeous. Swatch is not doing that shit justice either. It is absolutely beautiful on the eyes. I have taken this shade and done it just all over, not even put a shade in the crease, and then taken the Yama shade right here, which these two, there's quite a few really used colors in here that I like to reach for, but the Yama and this right here, absolutely beautiful whatever duo thing. Then last but not least, we have Breath, which again is that smooth feeling, buttery, 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 but is more of a matte than anything else. It's like a satin. Like, it doesn't pull off as a matte. It doesn't have that dry feeling, but it also isn't shimmery. So I guess satin is the best way to describe it. Very forgiving on the eyelids. If you've got texture or anything like that, these shades formulated like this are really, really good for that. Do not accentuate it, are very forgiving on those creepy, crepey imperfection lines that we all have because we're fucking human. And then we have Mantra right here, which is definitely a standout in the palette. It is just absolutely gorgeous. That is like a perfect shade of green. Like, just that shit fucks me up. I have also taken this and done it all around the lid and then topped this shit right on top of it. Looked really nice, gave me a very nice like sea witch whatever sort of vibes. So we've got the whole shade range going on like this. Nothing too like groundbreaking. It's kind of like a rosy sunsetty shade with some nifty cool tone bluey greenness. Also, if anyone's freaking out over this, I was in Arizona. I was putting a pizza in the oven and I got bit by the oven. But just looking on there, real nice and pretty. You've got a nice mix of formulas. I would say the standouts are, I mean, everything is formulated really nice. I can't say anything bad. I cannot fault the formulation on these. I love this shade. I love this shade. Those two are really nice. I love this one right here. I mean, again, they're all really, really nicely formulated. I don't really have anything bad to say about the formulation in that aspect and respect. It is a very well-rounded palette. All right, then next up is the retro palette, which is honestly giving me She's in Parties from Melt Cosmetics aesthetic going on right here. A little bit kind of Kinder Horror going on. So just like the last one, just whoop, whoop, whoop like I do. So we're going to start with Swing right here. Again, beautifully formulated. We've got Groove right here and Glitz, which is definitely one of my favorite shimmers in the... I mean, it's so beautiful. I love her shimmers. They are really nicely packed in there, but they're not so packed that you can't get a lot of pigment. They're a very user-friendly shimmer. They're not chunky. They don't have like hardly any fallout, and they're just really easy to use. Then we've got the matte going on right there. Absolutely breathtaking. And this shimmer right here, which just... it is all kinds of peachy, pinky, ethereal goodness. And then we have Nude Mauve, which is basically a deeper version of Anastasia Beverly Hills Buon Fresco, which they put in every other palette. Then Opart, which is again, and Andy, which is again that shimmer texture, buttery, matte satin finish. If any of y'all have any idea what kind of formulation this is, definitely let me know down below, because I have no fucking idea. And we got this going on right here and here and here. I absolutely, whatever the fuck this formulation is, I really, really enjoy it. It's just so interesting, and so not something that I have tried before or I've seen before in other palettes. I don't know if this formula is new to her or if I've just been under the ground too long, under a rock, but I do absolutely enjoy using them. So I was dumb as fuck and I was not recording. We ended with this shade here. Let me show you the shades that I swatched. Next was Rebellion right here, which is this absolutely stunning like berry shade. Then right there we have Psychedelic, which is all kinds of beauty. Got a little bit of twinkle, got a little bit of shimmy shiny going on in there. Then next right here was Jude, which is again a beautiful, we're getting really freaking washed out here, but it's this really pretty rosy grungy brown. And I did Maud right here, which I said while I wasn't filming is my least favorite shade in the palette, because it's a pasty something. These shades do nothing for me. I feel like they're throwaways in the palette. If we're gonna have a palette, give me just another color. I don't need this kind of little pissy, sort of slightly there, chalky, ashy, whatever the fuck this is. And then we have, what was it? Go-Go right there? Yeah, I swatched Helio right here and Go-Go right here. So this is, ooh, so pretty. Again, just absolutely beautiful. It matches my burn. So sorry for it being so freaking washed out. Not sure what that is all about, but just going on right there. So pretty. Then last but not least, we have got Amara right here. Beautiful, beautiful matte. We have Patty here. And then Vienna right here, which is again that nifty smoothie satin sort of going on formula there. So we've got this right here, here, and here. I do wish this one was, it's my skin tone. You can't even fucking see it. Look at that. It just disappears. Let's see, can we blend that ish out and just blend it into, look at that, it's my fucking skin tone, you can't even fucking see it. So yeah, that's probably another throwaway. You can kind of see a little hint of pink in there, but it's gone. Goodbye. I can't see you no more. So here we have the shades going on here, kind of like the Zendo palette when it comes to a formulation standpoint. I can't say anything bad about this. The majority of them are formulated really nice. The mattes, the shimmers, most of the things that I love about her $65 palettes are showcased in this one and that one. Most disappointed in that shade, which I don't really use, and then this shade, which I've honestly never used because it does absolutely nothing for me on every level. It's just a sad, chalky little I just blend it in. I'm like, oh, that's slightly rosy setting powder. So that shit doesn't really do it for me eyeshadow wise, but we've got these, I would say, standouts. This one, this one, this one. I really, really enjoy those satin finish ones. They're really pigmented, they're really beautiful, they're really easy to use. And like I said, all in all, except for those two shades, formulation wise, I can't say anything wrong. I cannot fault it for the way that it has been formulated. Alright, so we have swatched these palette. Let's just talk about them. Let's start with the Zendo palette. I'm not gonna lie with y'all, I have mixed feelings, not because of the quality, not because of the color story, just because I am someone who has a very set way of how I do my eyeshadow. Y'all know how I am. I do the one shade, then we put something in the crease, then we put a shimmy shiny there, and then we slap some eyeliner on it and call it a good day. So one thing I do enjoy about this palette is the fact that it has these, like, whatever freaking satin matte to something something. I absolutely love this shade. This shade absolutely fucks me up. Love that shade. Love Aura. Love Tranquil. Yama we already talked about. That's absolutely gorgeous. There really isn't anything bad that I can say about this palette formulation wise. It has different formulas. You've got the shimmer, you've got the matte, you've got the satin. I think it's a very well put together palette in that aspect. I enjoy the color story. I think I would get slightly more use from this palette if those satin or whatever shades were actually just basic mattes, because I am a basic bitch and I have the, like I said, I have the way that I do my shit, and that's how I like doing it. That's the way I am with my life. I have things that I like to do, I know how to do them, and I like it to be just so. So I don't really venture out of my comfort zone, and I do enjoy the fact that this palette just makes me have to venture out of my comfort zone and have to use those different formulas and find different techniques to make these formulas work. I love Zeal, this matte shade here. Like I said, there's really nothing that I can say negatively toward this. I don't get as much use out of this one as I do the majority of the other $65 palettes. The only other one that's, I think, this shimmer heavy is the the retro one, which is that really nice brown cool tone one, which I did say I will leave all my reviews of these $65 palettes down below. I said in the retro review that I am typically a matte over shimmer lover, but if I'm gonna have a shimmer, I want them to be formulated like this. This is a formula, a format that I have found to be really reliable from her brand. Take it as you will with color story and with matte to shimmer ratio and formulations and stuff like that, but from a quality standpoint, I can't say anything bad about these. And honestly, the same goes for this one too. Now this one I have gotten a fair amount of use, not necessarily so much on its own. I have coupled this with the She's in Parties palette. I've coupled this with some Give Me Glow. I've paired it with a fair amount of other palettes because I think it just has a lot of nice complementary shades that I've been able to use in my collection in junction with other shit that I have. Again, because of that matte to shimmer ratio, I don't get as much use out of this one because, like I said, I have a tendency, I have to force myself out of my own box when it comes to eyeshadows, because I look at this and I'm like, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, for with that one's kind of pitiful and pathetic. So essentially we have 3 mattes, and I look at that and I'm like, well, I can only really do one look. We go light and then we go dark in the crease, and that's it. But because we have this one right here and this one and this one and these really nice satin formulation, whatever the fuck this shit is, I really do enjoy it. Again, like the Zendo palette, it's not one that I find myself reaching nearly as much for as the other ones. I have been enjoying using this one in conjunction with other palettes in my collection. I really want to pull these into a makeup rotation and really kind of force myself to come out of that comfort zone and use these more often. They have some really, really beautiful shades. I love this one. I also need to get over the whole, you need to have a bright light shade in here and have the dark all over here. I need to try doing some dark shimmers on the middle of my lid and seeing how that works. It's kind of like a little trepidation thing for me. I'm like, nah. Must be light, must be popping, cannot be the same color as the mattes I'm putting in my outer corner, in my crease, in whatever the fuck this area is. But on a whole, again, quality-wise, I don't like that shade Mod. That shade's kind of disappointing because it just blends into my skin tone. But 2 shades out of the whole palette ain't bad. I would say if you're interested in these, definitely take a look at the matte to shimmer ratio. Think about the formulation and everything like that. Same with the Zendo one. But like I said, from a quality standpoint, I can't fault either of these. So they aren't palettes that I'm absolutely raving about because of the, you know, shimmer, matte, whatever. The color stories are really pretty. I would say that there are other ones in the $65 family that I would probably recommend more just from my own personal preferences. But if you don't give a fuck about matte to shimmer ratio, quality-wise, these 2 palettes stand up with the other $65 ones. They're just a really nice, consistent formula. Like I said, they're a Natasha Denona product that I stand by, that I haven't had quality-wise. These are really pretty color stories. I don't use them as much because I'm set in my ways with how I do my makeup. But quality-wise, these are great. If you're all whatever with that shimmer and matte ratio, you like these color stories, I would 110% recommend them from a quality standpoint because they are really, really good. The mattes blend beautiful. The shimmers are opaque. Those satin shades are really fun to use. These have a lot of things going for them in the same way that the other $65 palettes do. I would say these are nice additions to the family. And like I said, from a quality standpoint and from a color story standpoint, I think these are really, really good and solid products. All right, well, we have that review that took me a really long fucking time to finally film, but I like to think better late than never. I always appreciate all y'all that are like, yo, you could talk about a palette from 10 years ago and I'd still listen. I'm like, thank you. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about these palettes. I was slightly interested by that pastel one she did, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the $129 ones, and I just don't foresee myself spending that much on a palette like that that doesn't have the level of gradation that I enjoy. I've come to terms with the fact that I don't do pastel-y looks very often. Sometimes I go all balls to the wall, pastel pink, pastel purple, that sort of Harajuku kawaii aesthetic. But more often than not, I am leaning towards something like this, something, you know, darker purple, something green, something red, something more grungy. I'm not really someone who's using pastels in a day-to-day or an every other day occurrence in my makeup routine. But if y'all have tried that, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I have heard good things about the quality. I find that, at least for me, the 129s are a bit more hit and miss than the $65 ones. Like I said, I haven't had a miss quality wise from any of those, and I love even the more neutrally ones like the bronze and the retro one. I think they're just absolutely immaculately formulated palettes. But would love to hear your opinions on absolutely everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!